Hi, I'm here to pick up my son Milo.
There's no Milo here.
Who picked up my son from school?
Streaming only on Peacock.
I'm gonna need the name of everyone that could have a connection.
You don't understand. It was just the 5 of us.
So this was all planned.
What are you gonna do?
I will do whatever it takes to get my son back.
I honestly didn't see this coming. These nice people killing each other.
All Her Fault. A new series streaming now only on Peacock.
With new, gentler scented Clorox disinfecting wipes, clean finally smells as good as it feels. On everything from lamps to ceiling fans. Even on your kid's toy shark. Oh, ouch. Clorox disinfecting wipes. Now available in crisp lemon. Find it on Amazon. Clorox. Clean feels good.
Ladies and gentlemen, non-binary listeners, heroes and heroines, crooks and crookians, amigos and amigas, familia and squad, Mob Deep. The audio performance you are about to enjoy discusses casinos and gambling. We do not recommend gambling with money you cannot afford to lose or that is needed to pay bills. If you have a gambling problem, contact your problem gambling hotline. If you do not know how to contact your problem gambling hotline, send an email to help@casinocombat.com. We will find that number for you and provide it to you. Our hosts' past performances are not indicative of anyone's future results, including his own. All materials presented here are based on actual facts. Names and dates are changed to protect the innocent and the guilty. Some events, unrelated outcomes may be omitted in the interest of brevity and clarity. The contents of this podcast are the property of Volcanic Dingo LLC. All rights are reserved. It's me, it's TRG, the Ramblin Gambler, just trying to make a living and doing the best I can.
Lyrics, dude. Recite him some lyrics.
Another day, another dollar. It's about getting that money, then you give me a holla. Okay, I had to dig pretty deep on that one. Had to do a little looking around. Not my normal genre, not my normal artists. They're not always top of mind, and I had a lot of things top of mind I wanted to talk about. Welcome to episode 179 of our Casino Combat Podcast. If this is your next time, welcome back, and as always, thank you for the gift of your time. If this is your first time, if you did a search on a casino term and gave us a click, if you came across us in your feed in some way and you decided to dip in, we are about getting that money, to tie it in with the lyrics, from the casino. We are about winning the game of casino gambling, but we do see things a bit differently. We will happily play a 50-50 game to a 50-50 outcome and take our money in gift cards, bottles of wine, comped hotel stays, comped cruises, meals, shows. We are happy to take value out in any of a variety of ways, and we are happy to show other people how to do what we do. We've been doing this for a while now. It won't be long before it'll have been 6 full years. We've covered a lot of techniques, a lot of math. You are not going to get this all in one episode. If you are new to casinoing, we can show you how to win in the long run. If you are used to going to casinos, looking forward to playing some slots, throwing some dice, having some drinks, knowing you are going to lose, hoping you might win, but knowing you're going to lose, we can show you a different point of view, and we'd be very happy to do that. So if you are new, give this episode a try. If you like what you hear, check out the website, casinocombat.com. Check out our Facebook group, Casino Combat Squad. Ask questions, dive in. Feel free to email me personally if you can't find what you're looking for, trg@casinocombat.com. Spell combat with a K. I will be more than happy to help. I will do the battle plan for the episode in just a minute. But first, let's take a look at what is going on in the Casino Combat Galaxy. First up, big news. All right, I know what you're thinking, but no, Guardian and the Jet have not checked in. No, the Ghost Duck has not been around in a minute or two, but we truly have the biggest of news times two. We have 2 new members of the Excelsior Brigade since the last episode. We are happy to welcome Valley Nomad, who actually hangs out in my part of the United States. I'm sure we will meet at either Casino 1 or Casino 2 in the fairly near future. And Riptide Halfling, one of my favorite call signs. We were going kind of another direction, and I saw his email address. We really had to go Riptide Halfling, who is going to be out in Vegas in a few days that overlap with my time in Vegas next week. So I should get a chance to meet up with him as well. Welcome to the Excelsior Brigade and to the squad, gentlemen. We are thrilled to have you and can't wait to get to know you better. Next up, I was honored to be a guest on the Good JuJu Bets podcast recently. Part 1 of that interview has been published on their YouTube channel. Part 2 is coming. I will give you a bit of sound from that in the virtual VIP lounge today, but go watch the entire thing on YouTube. Put in Good JuJu Bets. Look for an episode called 40 Years of Beating the House. An undeserved compliment there, that is for sure. Throw them some likes, some subscribes, some shares, all that important internet stuff. Make sure that we take care of our friends. Make sure we take care of our allies. They really showed me how much I need to learn about doing the video side of this social media thing. They actually had teleprompters. Really showed me I need to expand and enhance the glorious Casino Combat Studios here in parts unknown. So a big thank you again to all of them. And as we talk about video skills, let me promote just for a minute the video channel we have up and running on Spotify. It is a subscription service. There is a low monthly charge. It is the next expansion in what we are trying to do here. There is a variety and expanding amount of content there that isn't here, that isn't going to be here, that isn't going to be audio content. Among that is TRACK, T-R-A-C-K, the Tactical Results Analysis Creation Kit. A video that shows you how to use a variety of free online tools to build a custom-to-you app for your phone that allows you to track your casino results in real time in the casino, which is to say to do track tactical results analysis of casino combat. $3, not a large price to pay for a subscription to learn how to build a tool that you can and will use every time you are in the casino. I know I use mine every time I'm in the casino. The other thing that was posted there recently as an episode is a Zoom call I did with the squad so I could demonstrate and explain TRG 4.14159 sweeter than pie. And I think there was some confusion around what that actually was. And all it is a variation of TRG4 win more, keep more, a technique for betting 50-50 games if you are new. And if you're new, you want to go to episode 62 and 63 to learn TRG2, always be grinding, and then episode 97 to learn TRG4, win more, keep more. There are flowcharts on the website in the Fred section to help you with that process of learning those systems if you are interested. Anyway, I took some things I had learned from Equine Ensign after I built TRG4. I took some things I'd learned from Inner Circle member East Coast Emissary PhD Fourth to the Ring, and I modified TRG4 into something that is a little more comfortable for Mrs. TRG, the Radiant Goddess of Casino Combat. It grinds a little more than TRG4 on the regressive side. The focus on the regressive side is in rebuilding the play stack more than in getting something for the win stack. And I think I created some confusion, and I regret that, and I wanted to clear that up. What TRG 4.14159 sweeter than pie is not is the 6-unit buy-in technique that I was doing on the last cruise. I was betting hands based on TRG 4.14159, just modifying the buy-in and the bankroll and the unit size to get an average wager that I wanted to show the pit, to get an average wager that was going to get me the comps I wanted to get the next time and the next time. So, all right, I rambled a bit. I'm on brand, but I rambled a bit. We did a Zoom call, and I laid out the entire history of TRG wagering systems, the origins of those systems, how I invented them, why I invented them, what I invented them to do, and very frankly, where I actually think the real secret sauce in all of this is, where I think the important parts of my thought process are that really make any and all of these work. It was a good call. Good demo of how chips moved. The video is up on the Spotify subscription service for video. If you want to understand in general all of the wagering systems, what makes them the same, what makes them different, and as I said, where I think the real success of all of those is created, go give that video a look. Go see what that is all about. Incredibly good session we had on Zoom. A lot of good information. I think a lot of clarity was created. I certainly hope so. That was the goal. And of course, thank you to everybody that was the motivation for doing that had questions, wanted to be there, wanted to hear about it. All right. The battle plan for episode 179. We have more to talk about than I realized. We are going to go straight old school. We are going to come out of the gate with questions my sons asked. Lucky Drunk asked something in the Slack virtual VIP lounge recently that deserves a public answer. And so I'm going to do that today. It was a great question, great observation on his part. It deserves a public answer, information that needs to be shared. Then, after we finish that up, we will have a moment of casino wisdom. Some conversations in the virtual VIP lounge on Slack yesterday crystallized something I've been slowly seeing for a while now. And so it just literally, as I was walking in the house yesterday after work, this little conversation is going on and it clicked in my head. I was so inspired that I flipped on the mic and recorded because I was seeing something, finally realizing all the thoughts together in a very unique way. I haven't listened back to it. I just dropped it in the shared folder for T-Rex. It may be a bit manic, it may be a bit hyper, but it was real in the moment of revelation and really ties together two casino wisdoms in, I think, a really useful way. If you want something to work on long-term in your game to expand how you profit from your casino relationship, I think as a group, we have discovered something really interesting and useful. Then, we're going to do a Core Koncepts segment. I'm going to go talk about the original TRG4 and its variants, the ones that I play, the ones that Questing Scholar PhD plays. And I'm going to talk about the magic of the first four chips in TRG4. The first four chips in TRG4 really are magic. They really do some amazing things. I had some feedback after the Zoom call that I really should bring that part of the conversation to the podcast. So I'm going to give you a take on what I call four-chip magic in our Core Koncepts segments. Then we will finish up in the virtual VIP lounge. I want to play just a little bit of sound for you from the Good JuJu Bets interview with their permission, and then share a story that I've shared in the past in some tangential ways. I want to rebut just gently the wonderfully complimentary episode title that they created, but I want to remind you of a story I've shared in the past, and maybe it needs to be shared again, but I want to put some perspective, as I said, on their very, very complimentary title for their episode. So that's what we're going to do today. Let's get started with questions my sons asked. What? My sons ask questions about gambling, listeners ask questions about gambling, and Excelsior Brigade member Lucky Drunk recently asked a great and somewhat personal question in the virtual VIP lounge. And I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. I'm not going to get him word for word. I didn't go back and look it all up, but it went along the lines of, if TRG4 and the Meta Martingale were working, why look for anything else? Why change? And it's a good question. It's a great question. It's a question that deserves an answer. It is a bit of a personal question. It is a bit of a personal reflection. It maybe even ties in a little bit to some conversations that we're going to have later in the virtual VIP lounge. I had a 59-day winning run. I made a day's pay or more every day for 59 days with multiple trips to Atlantic City, with multiple play sessions every day in Atlantic. So way more than 59 winning attempts. I mean, I sometimes had a winning attempt, went to brunch, had a winning attempt while Mrs. TRG was at the beach or at the pool, got cleaned up, went to dinner, went to a show, had 2 more winning attempts. A lot more winning attempts in that 59 days than just 59. It is the longest term success I've ever had. TRG4 and the Meta Martingale. Best I've ever done, no doubt about it. I had money that I was willing to put at risk to do that. If I lost 5 days pay in a day, it was like no big deal. Just pull 5 days pay and come back and do it tomorrow. And gosh, if it happens again 2 days in a row, which rarely happens. I think it's happened to me once in my entire career. But if it happens twice, oh well, I'm just going to pull more money out of the safe and we're going to go again. It was an amazing run. Why stop? 2 years in a row, I had rough months, break even or losing months right when the taxes were due on the money won in the previous calendar year, right? So the year ends December 31st. There's money in the safe to pay taxes. There's money in the safe to play on. There's money in the bank account that I call the cloud safe to cover things. And then we go January, February, and March is a horrible month. And the IRS doesn't care. Logically, what are they going to do? But the IRS doesn't care that I had a bad March. They still want their money from the previous year. And that happened 2 years in a row. And it kind of depleted what I was willing to put at risk. And at one level, I'm just not comfortable taking back-to-back Tier 3 Meta Martingale losses right now and just shrugging it off and getting on a cruise ship to gamble for 7 days in a row anymore. Anymore isn't the right word. I should really say right now. And also, life is different than it was then. I have 4, soon to be 6 wonderful grandchildren. I am running this podcast empire, which does take some time and effort, which I understand could be hard to believe, but it really does take some time and effort. IT consulting has been a bit busier recently. Things have picked up a little bit. I've had some longer days where I could have gone and played, and I looked at the comps available where I could play that day, and I said, you don't need to win a day's pay today. You've earned more than a day's pay. You've earned 2 days' pay doing IT consulting. Why are you going to go risk 5 days' pay when you really don't have very good comps and you're kind of tired and you're just trying to squeeze it in and force it in? And I just didn't go. I just skipped it. Perhaps as important, I've been adjusting my play to my comps, putting money at risk where the benefits my wife and I want most exist. Locally, they don't do much for me. And I'm going to get to some real numbers here for you in a minute on that. So I'd rather play bigger and with a bigger average wager and put more capital at risk where the comps are the best value. A while back, and I can't place it in time, but a while back I was having a conversation with Same Bet. I shared it here. I said, comps are an appearance fee. It's what they pay to get me to take the time to show up. So I'm playing less locally and playing more when I travel, making larger wagers when I travel. So I can travel more and play where the comps matter. And let me give you some real numbers on that, as real as I can give you. The Alaska cruise was a $2,500 retail value comp, and they gave me $500 in free slot play. The appearance fee to get TRG and Mrs. TRG to show up and gamble a few hours a night when the casino opens was $3,000. If I had played those same days for a few hours a day locally, my total comps were probably around $100, $150 in various gift cards and free bets, and I'm not including the free parking there. It was roughly the same kind of play for a long time. And the thought process in my brain at this point is, one brand is paying $3,000. Admittedly, I've got to move across the country. I've got some other expenses. That's all part of the mix. But they're willing to pay $3,000 in value and take me all these interesting places in Alaska to get me to come play blackjack a few hours a night on the nights when the casino is open, to throw some money in a slot machine here or there, to spend some money, to play some craps once in a while. And my local casino's maybe going to max out at 150. Why should I play the same way locally for $150 in appearance fees that I would in Alaska? It makes no sense to me. The MSC cruise, the numbers are a little different, but the numbers are really similar. You know, thousands of dollars to please drive a longer distance, grab a quick hotel stay for a small amount of money, and then get on a ship where they give me all my meals, all my shows, pools, spas, blackjack tournaments to play in for free, friends to hang out with, a private game. Put a dollar value on all that. Why should my local casino get the same play on a Tuesday afternoon that MSC got on a Tuesday afternoon for a $10 gift card? It just doesn't make any sense to me at this moment in my life. So I've made some changes. I've made some adjustments. I've started trying to match it up. I'm getting ready to go out to the plaza as part of a PCH event. And the comp there is 4 nights hotel, in my case, 4 nights hotel, card subject to change. This is how I understand it at the moment, but 4 nights hotel, 4 nights resort fees, and a food credit of $150, a resort credit of, $250. I misspoke, a resort credit of $250. That's a lot of value for me to come out and play just the way I always play for the most part from the perspective. No, my local casino is going to get less. They're either going to get a smaller unit size or they're going to get, I'm just going to bail quicker, right? I'm not going to do a full meta martingale. It's like if you beat me out of the first buy-in, okay, maybe I'll do a second partial buy-in if I can and try to recover. But if I can't, I'm just going to walk away. I'm just going to take my gift card. And if there's a day when, it used to be, if there was a day when there was no comp, I'd still go and I'd still try to get my money. I'm just not running from work where I've made money on a busy day down to the casino to put a bunch of money at risk for 0 appearance fee except free parking to then go watch my grandson play hockey. I'll just go watch my grandson play hockey. So it's not that it didn't work. It's not that I don't think it still works. It's I'm a little less willing to put capital at risk. I'm a little less willing to put capital at risk locally. I'd like to take that money and raise my average wager when I'm at places that put value on my attendance, put value on my appearance. There are a lot of ways to put together the pieces that I've taught here. It can be about revenue, and it was for me for several years. It took care of my lifestyle for several years in a very useful way, and honestly at a time when it was fun and where it made sense for that to happen. It was about revenue, and the pieces I've taught can be put together that way. I've demonstrated that part works. I may get back into the revenue grind again at some point. It may make sense again, and that would be great. Right now, I'm trying to adjust my play to match the value I'm receiving in comps. And I'm trying to play bigger where there are bigger comps to be had. I'm trying to travel on my play and enjoy the travel and enjoy the people I get to travel with. And be a player who deserves to be comped his travel when he travels. Same tools, slightly different goals. Let me just one real quick one, and then we'll wrap this segment up. I was just on a Zoom call with the Premier Casino hosting partners, my bosses, and with some other people that do for them what I do with them. And we were talking about planning out the next blackjack cruise or the next couple of blackjack cruises. And I don't have anything to announce yet. I will have something to announce soon. But somebody who's not familiar with me and what I do said, why is this a blackjack cruise? And people said, oh, because he's the Ramblin Gambler and he teaches blackjack. And I said, yeah, it was really nice. On MSC, we had our own private blackjack game. It was a lot of fun. We all learned a lot from each other. We all coached each other. And a couple of the partners said, and you took a lot of money off that table together. And that was true. We did. And we did that using what we've all learned from each other here, what I've taught, what other people have taught me about what I've taught, what we've done as a group. We did take a lot of money off that table, but that reinforces the point. I would rather do that a few hours of play in the evening or in the afternoon with my friends, with my squad mates, with podcast listeners, teaching each other, learning from each other, and playing at a level that gets us all back together again, than just go do that on a local Tuesday and get thumped. And so it's just a kind of an evaluation of risk in a slightly larger picture. Once again, Same Bet asked a great question. I gave him an answer that I think makes sense for me. And then I started to see my comps through the lens of my answer. And so it's kind of just been a kind of an adjustment, a realignment, a relooking at thing, a refinement, more than a change, just a slightly different perspective. And that is where I think some of the best value from all of this is. I'm learning from all of you. You're learning from me. You're learning from each other. We're better players as a squad. When I approached Billy with the great last name about his knowledge of social media and his ability to maybe help me with this, he said, "How much are you charging people?" And I said, "Well, I'm not, for the most part, maybe I'll sell some shirts at some point. Maybe they'll be, but the main podcast, I'm not planning to charge anything. I do just fine. That's not what I want to do." And he said, "Good. Gamblers, helping gamblers be better at gambling. Okay, I'm in." And that is what we've done. And I'm trying to reflect back now, and I'm trying to show all of you in a variety of ways that I really have learned from all of you, and I really do appreciate that. And it's not just I learned something, it's I got better. I hope I've made some of you better. I think I have. Your feedback suggests I have. But you've made me better too. And my play style has changed a little bit in recent years because of some of those things I've learned. That's kind of the answer to Lucky Drunk's excellent question. The squad has kind of changed me as a person and a player, and my play style has changed a little bit because of that, and also because my life has changed. I think that's the biggest takeaway. You can put these pieces together a lot of ways. We've got a listener, and I'm rambling. I am. T-Rex will maybe chop this out. We've got people that are paying their cell phone bill with bubble craps. That's a great thing. That's doing casino combat. We've got people that are using their meal comp and playing good blackjack once every couple weeks with a significant other or with some friends, and that's doing casino combat. We got people doing play all day to get cruises, and that's doing casino combat. Casino combat is a lot of different things, but in the end, casino combat is the core concepts. It is about those things and those aspects. It's about applying our casino wisdoms to win the game of casino gambling. And right now, I'm just winning a slightly different way. I mentioned a moment of casino wisdom. Let's go do that now. I have a couple of great wisdoms that I want to combine together and tell you something that I was very excited to realize and understand.
Chronic spontaneous urticaria, or chronic hives with no known cause. It's so unpredictable. It's like playing pinball. Itchy red bumps start on my arm, then my back, sometimes my legs. Hives come out of nowhere, and it comes and goes. But I just found out about a treatment option at treatmyhives.com. Take that, chronic hives. Learn more at treatmyhives.com.
So for this episode's moment of casino wisdom, we are going to go back to the 80s. And let me remind you for a minute that a casino wisdom, I try as many times as possible. There's always some exceptions that prove the rules, but I try as much as possible to give you a short little phrase that you can remember that points you to a piece of information or knowledge or experience and an action to take. And sometimes we got to work a little bit to find what that is. But so for today, I wanted to, as I said, go back to the 80s to repeat that bit just a little. Casino wisdom number 81, ABC, always be casinoing. And then, of course, casino wisdom number 86, have allies. And this is about building casino relationships, admittedly, to your advantage. And that doesn't mean they're ungenuine relationships. You can have great relationships. You can be friends with someone, and both parties can benefit from that. And the reason that this is on my head is I recently had a revelation, a legitimate revelation, an epiphany, a moment where I kind of saw all the pieces line up, and I saw it from a couple different ways and a couple different angles, and I couldn't quite figure out how I wanted to explain it to all of you in a podcast context. And then the most amazing thing happened. So here's the story to get to the revelation. Here's the story to get to the realization. And that is this. We're in the Slack virtual VIP lounge. We're hanging out. We're talking back and forth. And Inner Circle member, East Coast emissary, fourth to the ring, PhD, shares that out of nowhere, he had just gotten a very nice comp to a brand new restaurant at Ocean, a resort and casino that he and his lovely wife, Atlantic City Empress, hang out at on a fairly regular basis. They've hosted us there many times in the VIP lounge. The squad has hung out there a bunch. It's where I met Espresso King. Love the property. But the interesting thing was his comment that he had gotten this unexpected comp, this unexpected invitation to enjoy this restaurant, was that maybe it helped that he had posted some things on Instagram and shouted them out and, added them and all those other things that we do on social media. And if you're around my social media, make sure you do those things too. It's really super important. I'm supposed to beg you, and consider that begging. Let's keep going. So the response to his note that it maybe helped was Equine Ensign chimes in and says, maybe another way to work the comp game. And that crystallized a thought that I'd been having. And that is that the more ways that you are intertwined, the more ways that you are casinoing, casino wisdom number 81, always be casinoing, the more ways that you're casinoing, even when you're not in a casino putting dollars at risk, when you're not putting capital at risk, you can still be casinoing. You can still be doing things that are casino related that generate casino benefits later. And the more ways you have those, the easier, and if the more ways you track those, the easier it is for you to have a profit from casinoing outside of actual dollars and cents changing hands, outside taxable income. A comp for multiple hundreds of dollars to go eat dinner at a restaurant in a building where you're going to be anyway is the equivalent of that many untaxed dollars. I mean, don't tell the IRS and don't tell the federal government, and they'll fix that someday if I stick around long enough, but that's absolutely true. Money handed to you in the form of an invitation postcard to eat food in an expensive restaurant is like earning that money in dollars. It really is. And the point here is have allies, right? It may very well be true that his post, that Dr. ECE's post on Instagram prompted someone to say, hey, why don't we send him an invitation to the restaurant? Maybe he'll write nice things about the restaurant. They're being an ally. They're being helpful to you. They're providing something that you wouldn't necessarily have been able to provide for yourself, at least not in terms of free food. And sometimes I talk about having allies in terms of knowledge about casino games or knowledge about rules or limits or trends or all of those types of very useful things. But this is just as useful. And I think it's very believable that Dr. ECE and Equine Ensign are onto something because I've seen it in my own life, and their comments crystallized it. It was about this time last year that, my mistake, but I thought my local casino posted the pictures of some custom Christmas sweaters for the casino. that were actually really cool from a quick Christmas sweater point of view. And my post on their social media post was, if you really do those, that will be the most cool gift you have ever given out in your whole entire existence as a brand in this city. And I would so want to do what I needed to do to get 2 of those, one for me and one for my wife. Those are absolutely amazing. And I really felt that, and I thought nothing of it. Now, here's my mistake. The sweaters weren't at my local casino. They were at the horse track, the slot parlor, the sister property, the little sister property in this case. That's where those items were. And I thought nothing about it. I didn't even realize I'd made the mistake until we get kind of close and I get a direct message right before they're getting ready to give these sweaters out. And the note says, the next time you stop downtown, please stop and get the sweaters for you and your wife. We appreciated your comment. And I'm still oblivious to my mistake. I am still completely oblivious to my mistake. And so I go downtown, I stop at the rewards desk, and I say, hey, I got this message. They said that there was a package here for me. And they go, yeah, they sent those over from the Racino. Those are really nice. I might have to go out to I'd gotten the wrong track. I'd gotten the wrong casino. I'd gotten the Racino, not the casino. And because of that little comment, they took the time to pack up 2 sweaters, label them, wrap them, label them, and put them at the rewards desk for me and my wife. It's clear as day that was A, was the result of B. So obviously Equine Ensign and East Coast Emissary, PhD, are absolutely 100% correct. But it goes further than that, doesn't it? Think about it. The more you get involved with casinos in whatever way it is, the more you are casinoing without putting capital at risk, the more you become an ally. The more you become someone in their food chain. And I'm going to get things wrong here because I'm speaking without researching. I got the ideas and I wanted to capture them for all of you. But there's some guy named Brian, right? And I'm not casting aspersions. He's done an amazing version of this. He became such an ally that, as I understand it, there are several casinos that have a machine for him, a machine of his. Let me say it that way. His brand is now on slot machines. And in some pits, you get given special trinkets and merch if you hit certain combinations. His online brand, his process of casinoing, generated a situation where someone wanted to put his likeness on a machine, and I assume that pays money. Think of all the people that do all the YouTube stuff, and I'm not advocating losing tens and twenties of thousands of dollars in order to make more than that on YouTube. I'm not espousing that at all. But by getting so successful in doing casino things, there's another source of revenue from the process. Right? There's an aspect there where, hey, we want to book this room. It's for Same Bet. You know him. He has the YouTube channel. That's that extra little thing. That's extra little thing to negotiate as a host. I mean, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but part of the reason I had this revelation is that we as a squad had enough casinoing. We did enough casinoing as a squad in all aspects, whether that's Equine Ensign's 30-day gambler and the research that he's doing, the amazing research that he's doing, whether it's the YouTube stuff, whether it's the Instagram stuff, that a casino hosting company came and said, we'd like to be your ally. Right? We'd like to be your ally. And you would like a private a blackjack game? We'd be happy to talk to him. MSC would love to do that. Any of us can do these things in little ways. VCPD, I literally just realized, and dude, I'm so sorry because this is such cool news. VCPD, because of what he did on social media, promoting the casino that's getting ready to open, got invited to the soft open sneak preview grand opening. I'm so sorry. I should have looked this up. I'm just having the revelation in the moment here. He gets extra early access to a casino the night it opens, a very unique experience, a very special, it doesn't happen very often, folks. How many casinos open a year that you have a chance to get invited, invitation only, to go to this? And just an excellent example of his consistent posts in promotion of gambling in Virginia, and he is the commander of the Commonwealth, so that's perfectly justified and reasonable. But he's going to be there at the grand opening, having a great time, recognizing, representing the squad, being there for all of us to share that experience back with all of us. That's what I mean. These are truly great wisdoms. If you are always casinoing, and the more frequently you're casinoing, and the more ways you interact with others in that process, the more you have opportunities to benefit from your relationship with the casino industry, and often in ways that generate experiences or meals or stays or cruises or better rules, or a room that shouldn't be available that is available, or any and all of those things. So it's wonderful. The synchronicity of it struck me. The fact that all of us in little ways, and this is also, and I'm finish up and then I'll move on to the next thing I'm supposed to talk about. But here's the other part of this. Have allies, right? It's because we're all allies of each other. It's because we have that virtual VIP lounge that if you're in the Excelsior Brigade, you can just ask for an invitation from the right people and get invited in, no cost. We just want you to come join us, because it's through that we get opportunities like this to see things in a slightly bigger picture. And now we can all take something out of it and say, how can I increase my social media involvement with the casino industry in a way that benefits myself and benefits them, or we're an ally to them, because that's how they're seeing it, right? How can I look, if we're playing a 50-50 game, if we are playing blackjack or craps and the house advantage is right around 1%, with blackjack down to as little as 40 cents per dollar, if we're playing that kind of game, it doesn't take a whole lot of free stuff we want to more than offset it, even if they do get their money, even if they do get their 40 cents from time to time, and it happens, it happens, but it's even more okay as you add these other relationships, these layered in things, these ways that are beyond just the mailer you get, and the mailer's great. The mailer's excellent. But what else can you get? And maybe it comes in the mail. Maybe it comes as a postcard. Maybe it comes as a DM. Maybe it comes as an offer for some type of business relationship. But the casino industry is an industry built on relationships and who you know. And as a squad, we have just been fortunate enough through our group knowledge that I think we can be very, very realistic and say we've realized that this is not occasional and this is not random. This is a part of the pattern. If you get involved with the casinos in any number of ways, they're going to get involved back, and their involved back is most likely going to bring benefit to your life. I just think it's fabulous. These two casino wisdoms kind of came together. Thanks to everybody in the Slack virtual VIP lounge. It is exactly what I imagined it to be, everybody. It really is. That salon of like-minded people trying to pull every last bit of knowledge and information together so that everybody gets better. And if you have the opportunity, figure out what my home casino is, Casino2. Email that to me. Tell me that real-world location. Find Nakatomi Tony, same bet, or Equine Ensign somehow out in the real world digitally. Send them an email, send them a direct message, tell them you want an invitation, come join us. Because without pooling our knowledge together, maybe individually, none of us realize this without having the conversation and finding out how true these wisdoms are, and another opportunity that we can apply them in our real life. All right, up next, we are going to do a Core Koncepts segment. The core concepts of casino combat are the foundational ideas, the pillars of what I do and how I do it, the fundamental ideas about gambling that I base everything I do and everything I teach on. And if you're not familiar with them, if this is your first time, you need to go find those in my never so humble opinion. You can go to the website, you can go to the blog post. There is a Core Koncepts post there that will talk about those. You can listen to roughly the first 10 episodes of the podcast. That'll lay it out. If you're new, go listen to the first 10 episodes. You'll get a great sense of who I am and what I'm about and what this is all about. You can go on our YouTube channel. You can go to the Boot Camp spelled with a K, playlist. And there I did a series of short 5 to 15 minute lessons. You can do the whole thing in less than 90 minutes. Short little segments. Tried to strip out most of the stories. Tried to strip out most of the absurdity. Tried to strip out most of the storytelling, which comes naturally to me. Tried to just focus on the ideas and teach the core concepts in a short little series of lessons there. The core concepts are easily and readily available, and while I often repeat them, I'm not going to repeat them today. Today I want to focus on a couple of the core concepts, which is to have a wagering system with progressive and regressive components. Now, a progressive component in the way my brain works is that after you've won a bet or a series of bets, you need to increase your wagers in some way, because occasionally you'll win a bunch in a row and you want to take advantage of that. And you need regressive elements. That's where we catch up, which is to say, after a loss or a series of losses, your wagers also need to get bigger. This goes to the idea that I don't think you can make much progress at winning a 50-50 wager by betting the same amount over and over. Eventually, if you've lost 2 or 3 hands, 4 hands, I guess, your wagers need to get larger before you say no mas and give up. That's the only way you're going to catch up, is if your wagers go up a little bit. So wagers need to go up from a base amount, down from a base amount. Today I want to talk about part of TRG4, originally introduced in episode 97. Thanks to the guy in the chair for helping figure that out. It was harder than you might think to go back through 180 episodes and figure out where I talked about what. We're still working on a project around being better at doing that. But episode 97 is where TRG4 was taught. East Coast Emissary PhD has done a flowchart that will teach TRG4, win more, keep more. Go to the Fred section of the website. You can download that. I want to focus today on just the first few wagers. I want to focus on what I call 4-chip magic on the regressive side. The first 4 chips out of your play stack. And if you're starting out, I always recommend a 10-unit play stack and a -8-unit exit. But I want to focus on the first 4 chips. Actually got 4 chips here. And I want to walk through how the betting process works. And most of you listening know this. If you don't, this isn't going to make this crystal clear. But I want to focus on how magic those first chips are. If the cards let you play consistently in those first 4 chips, good things are going to happen. Money is going to be made. Let's talk through the first part of the regressive side of TRG4, win more, keep more. So, if I bet 1 and I win, well, that's great. I have all my original chips, and 1 goes over into the win stack. I'm a 2-stack guy, always, sometimes 3. Sometimes the names of stacks change a little bit, but I believe in using chips are the only tool you're allowed to have on the table. You're allowed to have a card in your hand that tells you how to play. You're allowed your brain. You're allowed the people around you. But the only tools you're allowed to use are chips. So chips can be used, I always say, have a win stack. That's one of our casino wisdoms. So I start with what I bought in with, usually a 10-unit play stack, and then I have an imaginary win stack usually on my right. So if I bet 1 and win, I can rebuild my play stack to 10 units, and I can add 1 unit to the win stack. Great. Perfect. That's magical. We won money. But I bet 1 and I lose. Now my 4 magic chips are only 3. So I bet 2. And in TRG, because in TRG4, I'm regressing, I lost one, so I am going to respond with my first bet being a 2-unit bet. I am going to add money to my wager as the result of having lost the first bet. So if I bet 2 and win 2, now 1, 2, 3, 4, I have all of my play stack back, and I can add 1 to my win stack. Great. What happens if I bet 1 and lose, bet 2 and lose, bet 1 and win, now in TRG4, having sustained 2 losses and then won a hand, the next bet is 2 units. And if I bet 2 units and win, I have my magical 4 chips back. My play stack is completely rebuilt, completely ready to go. Anything that happens in those first 4 chips is generally good stuff, other than I lost my first bet, I lost my second bet, I lost my third bet. Now we're into the grind that is TRG2 and TRG4's regressive side. We're taking small losses, waiting for things to flip and start going our way again before we start pressing our bets again. But as long as I'm in that first 4 magic chips, and as long as a 50-50 game does roughly what a 50-50 game should do, I should keep rebuilding. There's no reason if I make a 1-unit bet and lose and make a 2-unit bet and lose, there is no reason in my own brain to be going, oh no, no. What my mind is telling me after years of doing this is, oh, no problem. I bet 1 and win 1. I bet 2, win 2. I'm regrouped. I'm ready to go. I've got all my chips back. Now I can go back to the process of trying to win, right? I can go back to the process, and I'll throw one more thing in here, because all of this, of course, is based off of the Mini Marty research done by Dr. ECE, which is that if I bet 1 and lose, when I bet 2, not the possibility, not the percent chance, but the probability of winning one of 2 wagers is 75-ish%, according to his research. So if I bet the first one and lose, I'm making that second bet with a high degree of confidence and just trying to get my 4 back in my play stack and add 1 to my win stack. First 4 units is a very comfortable place to play. And as Badger Baron said, if you get to -6, it's like you're after midnight. Not a lot of good things are going to happen. But his feedback was that that maybe that 4-chip magic thing was worth teaching within the podcast, worth trying to teach in audio. I did a lesson based around that on our MSC cruise, and taught that there and showed that a little bit. But that is the best part about TRG4, is it kind of combines TRG1, the one, the only, ironically, and TRG2, always be grinding. It kind of merges their first couple steps, and that gets us to the place where those first 4 chips are absolutely magical. All right, okay, let's go. Let's adjourn to the virtual VIP lounge for some sips, some audio, and one quick story.
A little bit of the bubbly.
Welcome to the most must-listen-to segment in casino lifestyle podcasting, the Virtual VIP Lounge. Our lounge is open, and we have the best virtual everything virtually all the time. The best virtual food and drink served anywhere on the interwebs, guaranteed or your money back. As always, if you can, press pause. Pour yourself a drink, make it an adult beverage if it's a reasonable time in your day to do that. Having food and drinks with good friends, old and new, in a VIP lounge in the real world is an increasingly rare opportunity, and that makes those opportunities when we have the chance to do that. That makes those situations where we can all be at the lounge in Ocean Resort and Casino, where we can be at the lounge at showing my bias, showing my brand awareness. If we can all be at the Borgata in Atlantic City, if we can be at that Seneca Tribe property where they have the bar behind the hidden door, if we can be someplace where food and drink are available, it is a wonderful opportunity to enjoy a very unique aspects of our casino combat lifestyle. So what I want to do here now, once we've all had a drink. I am boring today, folks. I am sorry. My middle son, the mad scientist, did bring some root beer up, some non-alcoholic root beer from a local craft brewery. I do have a root beer here. I am about half done with it, so I apologize. Today's a busy day. I got a lot going on. I'm hoping to get this all out to you and then wait to hear feedback while I go and do some other things. So just a root beer today, but, cheers. If you happen to have an alcoholic beverage of your own, enjoy. I'd love to be there and enjoy with you. What I wanted to do today is, once again, thank the guys over at Gambling with Good JuJu, at Good JuJu Bets, for asking me to be a guest on their show, for doing their best to make a guy who is not camera ready look like he was camera ready. I really appreciate them doing that. I wanted to thank them. I want to encourage you to go listen to the entire first part of the interview. Wait for that second part of the interview. Like and subscribe on their YouTube channel so that when the next part of the interview comes out, you'll know it's there. Make sure you do that. But I wanted to share it's a story I've shared in a variety of ways a couple of times about the first time I broke a game in Las Vegas at Casino Royale. So here's that sound from their video and audio episode, and then I'm going to come back and rebut one of the things that they've said. I want to make sure that that's clear. So here's an outtake from that episode, and then I'll be back with some commentary.
We can't lose. No, we can't lose again.
Enjoy it while it lasts. Gambling gods, fickle bunch.
Oh, yeah.
So easily affected.
We have a shooter and a good one coming out for a new point. Get your bets down, ladies and gentlemen. He's a rolling point is 9. Place 9. 9 a winner. Got a hot hand. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen.
They bet on absolutely anything. Don't make them prove.
And she really grabs me by the lapel, and she's like, "You listen to me. You told me we were staying until we lost 2 hits on the same shovel, and we haven't lost. And you don't get to quit while you win."
You're tuned in to Gambling with Good JuJu.
Welcome in, everybody, to Gambling with Good JuJu. Ryan, are we still alive?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's right. We are still surviving right along through week 6 of Circa Survivor. Back to our roots, back to the bandwagon, back to the pack, along with 60% of the remaining field.
Literally the Packers.
Shout out Jolly St. Vincent.
Yeah, God bless him.
It's time. We haven't recorded in a couple of weeks. This model thing's keeping us rather busy, but I'm officially in on the strategy. We bandwagon the most popular team that we haven't already taken and isn't facing the 49ers. And let me just say this, Juice.
Yeah.
That the Patriots in Tuesday's preliminary projections from Circa Atlas said that they're the most popular team. Circa Atlas is wrong. I'm calling it right now.
Chiefs.
The Kansas City Chiefs will be the most popular team because Kurt found a statistic.
Yeah.
He found a stat that said, no, you don't want to bet against the team who just fired their coach.
Yes, exactly.
And so I'm confident now that he is more the voice of the people than Survivor Atlas, and the Chiefs will be the number 1 most popular.
And that's who we'll have.
Yeah. It was hard cheering for the Packers, but we managed.
Yes.
I told my kids they didn't have to cheer for the Packers, even though we had them in Survivor. I said, I'm not going to make you do that. You can just go ahead and continue booing them. So
you don't want to confuse them.
We were good there.
Impressionable age.
It felt gross. It felt grimy that we were on the Packers.
All right.
But
good.
Oh, well. Okay.
We survived.
Yeah. We survived. We're on next week. We're still battling with the model. We'll get into that. Next week, we'll record the 2 of us.
Okay.
There we go. All right. Hey, while we kick things off, do us a favor and head on over to YouTube and click that subscribe button for us. Got a preferred podcast platform? Why not rate the show and leave a review? If you have fun with us directly, we can be found on the socials at Good JuJu Bets. And if you really like us, then head on over to goodjujubets.net, click on the merch shop, and show your support.
Yeah, real quick, shout out to Keisha, Maryland, for hitting up the shop last week. Thank you.
Love you, Keisha. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, let's get into it.
On today's episode, we're talking with the Ramblin Gambler. TRG for those in the know and the lingo. host of the podcast, Our Casino Combat Podcast. That's combat with a K, and lifelong taker advantager of casinos. He's on a similar war path as us, helping make gamblers better gamblers. You can learn more about everything TRG and the Casino Combat Podcast at their website, casinocombat.com. Again, that is combat with a K. So today we're talking with TRG about betting smarter in the casino. Do you flat bet every wager at the table? When should you go up? When should you go down? Does any of this really matter? We're going to get into all that and more. Casino Combat style. TRG, welcome in.
Hey, thank you, guys. Thank you. I appreciate the invite. It's nice to be out and about.
We are excited to talk with you. You are, just so you know, a name that has been on our we'd like to interview this guy at some point list for quite a while. I apologize it's taken this long, but seriously, when we found the topic that's right for you, we said we got to bring him on.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, that's great. That's great. I'm glad you found the topic that makes sense for all of us. This should be a lot of fun.
That's going to be good.
Okay. Now, before we get into tonight's topics, I have to know, how do I win my place in the inner circle?
All right. So that is, I'm a man of my word. Okay. And when I initially announced the inner circle, I said 10 members, and we did hit 10 members, and I capped it at 10. But the Excelsior Brigade, which has all the same privileges, is available and limitless. We are taking new members all the time. We have a couple new members a month, and it has a really cool perk.
Okay.
So what you need to do is you need to listen to more of the early episodes.
Okay.
And I describe a lot of casinos by brands and by distance. And if you do a little detective work, you can find the real world name of my home casino, Casino 2, which is 2.5 hours south and east of my home. And if you figure that out and you email me, and it's doable, we had a guy from Australia. And if you can tell by the accent, I'm not from Australia. We had a gentleman from Australia figure it out in the first 10. We just had somebody feed the clues into AI and resolve it very, very quickly. So you just have to find the name of the real world name of my home casino, Casino 2. And now here's the bonus. Some of my listeners started a Slack channel only for people who are in the Excelsior Brigade and the Inner Circle, and they invited me. And it's now a 24/7, 365 environment of really skilled gamblers. And the only thing we require for you to join us is effort. We have no fees. We have no membership. We want effort and participation. So find the name of my home casino. That's step one. Then you have to find Nakatomi Tony, Same Bet, or Equine Ensign, all members, all podcast call signs in the real world. Not as hard as it sounds. Same Bet has a YouTube channel, very popular one. So you find the home casino, join the Excelsior Brigade, find a way to message one of the guys, ask for an invitation, you're in, and it is a tremendously useful group to be a part of, an incredibly supportive group, a really smart group. I've learned so much from hanging around with them.
Now, I'm going to say this, because I caught a look out of the corner of my eye from my co-host. And I have this sneaking suspicion that you may be able to get us in.
Well, I'm not in yet. I've not braved. I don't. Do you get 3 guesses right? Is that the rules?
You get 3 strikes and you're out. Yep.
Yeah, I've been afraid to blow the first one, but
we get 4.
Oh, well, there's 2 of us.
So like you can use 2, and then I can use 2.
Yeah.
Is this cheating? This isn't cheating, right?
That's an advantage play. That's not cheating.
It is not, because the other rule is that it is like vampires, right?
Yeah.
People who are members can just tell someone and make them a member. No one has done that yet.
Yeah.
Everyone has chosen to make everybody play, but someone who knows can't just tell someone and then that person knows. And that's okay too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to be honest. We would come into the group as a team. most likely. So it would be a team effort in the group. Anything he knows, I know. Anything I know, he knows. So
right. There you go.
Any effort is shared. So.
Right. So we got to share
Sounds
the
like
effort.
a wonderful addition, guys. Figure it out. Come join us. We would love to have you.
We'll be there soon.
Love to have you.
We'll be there soon.
It's a project. We are going to work on it.
Scavenger
I
hunt.
can guarantee you that. All right, TRG. You have 40 years of gambling in you. We haven't, am I correct on that? 40 years right around there?
That's pretty accurate.
Okay.
And on a daily basis for the last 7 or 8.
We have an hour to get to know you and to learn not only how to bet smarter at the casino, but how to suck out any good stories that you got in you from you. So that's a tall ask. So let's start here. When was your first trip out to Vegas?
My first trip out to Vegas was my honeymoon in 1986.
Oh, fantastic.
And we stayed at the Imperial Palace, which is now the Link.
That was our first casino we stayed at as well.
Cool.
That's starting to sound a little too partnery there.
Yeah, no kidding.
We had our girlfriends with us too. We do go to Vegas, just the two of us. Don't get me wrong. Okay, so your first trip out to Vegas is in the mid 80s, 1986. Can you set the stage for us? What's Vegas like in the mid 1980s compared to like, we didn't get there until our Imperial Palace start was like early 2006.
Oh, that's a big gap.
So can you give us an idea?
That's a big gap, guys. Imperial Palace was kind of a high roller spot. So blackjack table minimums were $2, not $1. If you were betting green chips, you were a high roller and you kind of got whatever you asked for. There are no rewards programs yet.
Oh, wow.
There are no kiosks. There are no ADTs per se.
Real quick, can you explain ADT for the audience? I'm not sure they know.
Oh, sure. I'm sorry. ADT, average daily theoretical. It's an equation. I won't bother you with the equation. If you need the full equation, let me know. Happy to help. TRG@casinocombat.com. But the casino looks at your bets and how often you make them, and the house advantage on the wager, and a few other things, and they give you a score. And that score determines what they're willing to comp you in the modern world. In 86, Imperial Palace, Vegas, the pit boss looked at what your play had been for your time in his pit and then made choices. So, like, for example, I remember the first time we got comped anything, we had been playing $10 blackjack. This was not our first trip, but we had been playing $10 blackjack, and it was starting to get late, and the pit boss was rotating out, and I changed to playing green chips. And we played 10 or 15 minutes maybe, and I said to my wife, hey, watch this. I'm going to get us breakfast. And she goes, oh, no, you're not. And so I waved the pit boss over, and I got green chips out. And I'm like, hey, we've been playing a while here. Do you suppose you could write us a comp to the coffee shop? And he looks at the green chips and he looks at his notebook and he goes, well, you've been here a couple hours, sure. And he wrote us a comp to go up and eat. So much more based on what they perceived than what they knew about you.
Yeah.
Oh, we would have done
look at a
so
computer
well.
and have you down to the penny.
Yeah. And so your interactions with the pit boss probably carried more weight as well.
Absolutely. And this didn't necessarily happen for me, I wasn't out there often enough, but if they knew you because you had been there a couple times a year playing the same place, keep in mind that every property on the strip was an island in the sense that there was no corporations that owned more than one property on the strip. So if they knew you and they were trying to keep you from walking across the street to Caesar's Palace or next door to Flamingo or what have you, and you were there on some type of regular basis, they'd stretch just based on the idea that you were their player. Maybe you're having an off day, an off week. Maybe you got beat up a little bit. They were still going to take care of you because you had so many other choices. You didn't have to be loyal as much to one brand. They take care of you more quickly. it was just very, very different. It was a lot more personable. It was a lot less corporate. It was not very far removed from the mob.
Yeah. Wow.
The mob hadn't been gone that long, and they still had a lot of that mobby kind of feel to them. And of course, I was a low stakes tourist that got out there every couple years.
Yeah.
I wasn't somebody that was there on a regular basis.
And from what I understand, the advantage play opportunities were more substantial the further back you go in terms of your gambling in casinos, if you knew what you're doing.
Yeah, the further back you go, and I came in knowing basic strategy and knowing how to count cards, which is not to say good at counting cards, but understanding it. And when I came in, basic strategy was you did not have people sitting around going, what does the book say? What does the book say? What does the book say? You would say, well, I'm not hitting this because the book says this, and people would go, what book are you talking about? Yeah, they didn't get it. They didn't know. Dealers didn't know.
Yeah. They still don't, just so you know.
Yeah, well, true. The house could sometimes get a little jittery with larger dollar amounts if you appeared to know too much. And the thing that's really different from, in one way, a thing I guess I should say, was that hiding your skill was a much more talked about thing. We were not that far removed from take too much and maybe you get a trip to the back room being a thing.
Right.
More effort was put into hiding what you knew, not showing what you could do, looking more like just a happy-go-lucky tourist, even if you were not a happy-go-lucky tourist. Those things are all different, I think, now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we would have done better back in the mid-'80s.
Yeah, for sure.
You miss it, right? Like, you if you have to choose between Vegas in the '80s and Vegas now, you're going Vegas in the '80s, right?
I'm going to go Vegas late 90s.
Oh.
That's going to be my sweet spot.
How come?
Vegas by the late 90s had started to coalesce, particularly the Strip, into groups.
Okay.
And you could therefore wander big chunks of the Strip and still be part of the same reward system.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was some value in that, but 6 to 5 wasn't a thing yet. A $10 table, a $15 table was an expensive table. Yeah, I think I'd probably go mid-90s would be my sweet spot. In mid-90s, Vegas, with the bankroll I have now, I would be a point and get guy.
Explain that.
I want those show tickets. Here are those show tickets.
Oh.
I want that steak dinner. Here's that steak dinner.
Yeah. Good.
I'd take that. That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
That would be awesome.
Something to strive for.
And, anytime we can prop up the 90s.
Yeah, shout out the 90s.
Shout out the 90s. We were 90s kids, so shout out the 90s. Weren't able to go to Vegas yet. But
no, not quite.
We were gaining our degenerate capabilities below the surface at that point.
Shout out Owen's basement.
Yeah. Now, okay. Now, if I understand correctly, because I did check out your website, you were well informed on blackjack before you ever stepped foot in a casino, correct? Why was this?
Yeah. So I was an information technology major. You call it coding now. We called it programming back then. And my final, and I was immodestly, I was incredibly good at IT. I was incredibly bad at all the other stuff I needed to get a degree, accounting, finance, horrible. And my last IT related class, I was going to finish up all of that. I had a great GPA. I had to simulate something, some process. And it couldn't be a project anyone else had done in the last, 2 years, 3 years, because he was concerned about plagiarism, because ultimately it was just code.
Right.
It could be typed, it could be stored, it could be repeated. So you had to get it approved. And so I go in the first office hours after the assignment's given, and I've got 3 ideas. I'm going to do warehouse, I'm going to do pizza delivery, I don't know, whatever. And he shoots it down. Now I come back 2 days later and I've got another 3 ideas, and he shoots them down. And I think I must have rolled my eyes or something because he goes, "What's the problem?" And I said, "You know I can do this. You know this will be done quickly and this will be done well. But I can't start till you say yes, and I can't get you to yes with my ideas, and I just want to do it and get it done because I'm going to flunk accounting 3 if I don't start studying for accounting 3, and I want this done and out of the way." And so he reaches back and he pulls a book off his shelf, Beat the Dealer by Thorpe, an IBM scientist, that explored proper basic strategy and card counting and betting based on the count. And it was one of the first books of its type, at least the first well-promoted books of its type. He goes, "This guy thinks that blackjack can be beaten with a strategy and a way of counting the cards. Simulate blackjack and simulate play according to this book and prove or disprove what he says in this book." And I went, "Oh, okay."
Easy, done.
What you got to do? You got to build a table that has the 52 cards. You have to deal the cards. You have to keep track of the count. Like, none of that's really difficult.
Yeah.
From a coding point of view.
Right.
Okay.
So I crank it out. I get the grade. I am broke. I live nowhere near Atlantic City or Las Vegas, the only places that gambling and blackjack are legal. I have no ability to travel, no ability to fly. I am 2 years away from graduation. I'm not even old enough to gamble. This is worthless information. Absolutely worthless.
Okay. So I have a follow-up question here, TRG, and I've been wondering this ever since I read this story on your website. What are the odds your professor was using you to get to information needed so that he could go count cards himself in the casino?
Answer, was that ever in question? Yes. Like, wasn't that obvious what he was?
Oh, that's great.
It sure seems like this guy's like, you don't have a project. I got an idea. I'd like to beat the casino. Here, you go tell me how to do it.
Read this book. Build me some software.
Well, because he got the code too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The code was the project.
Right. He was so worried about plagiarism on your side.
Why wouldn't he take that code and go, "Hey, this guy, did your project prove that it could be done?"
Yes, because also keep in mind in that time frame, you were counting a single deck of 52 cards.
Yep.
And they were cutting out a 20th of the deck. That's not hard, guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not that. I mean, it's not difficult if all you're counting is 52 cards. You're not having to do the real count. Right? You're not having to count and get a number and keep that number in your head and then estimate the number of decks remaining and do the division to get to the true count.
Okay.
And most of the people in the gaming industry at the time didn't know how to detect card counting. And if they did know how to detect card counting, they were deploying that in places I wasn't playing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, the pit bosses, the dealers, the eyes in the sky that could catch that were not trying to catch $2 TRG and his wife once a year for 3 days.
Right. Right. Got it. You guys, it's just like you always say with Boyd. I just hope they're happy to have me back.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
Okay, so we've kind of established a few things here. So we've established that you were better at blackjack before you ever walked into a casino than most people are their whole lives playing blackjack. We've uncovered that you have 40 years of gambling experience, starting from the mid-'80s all the way to today, and that the mid-'90s are the best.
Yes, established.
But what I want to know is if you're willing to share with the audience, or if you have a best casino story in the back of your head from your last 40 years of gambling.
Oh, man. And I'm struggling only because, 2 reasons I'm struggling. One, there are so many. Picking best would be difficult.
I'll take top of your mind today.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other disclaimer, I love a good disclaimer.
Sure.
Anyone that has heard this story before and says he didn't tell it the same way this time. You're right, I didn't. I've been doing this for 40 years. Sometimes the stories get adjusted a bit. I apologize. So maybe the second or third trip out to Las Vegas. My wife, first game I ever broke. We're at Imperial Palace. Mrs. TRG is going to spend some time at the pool. I'm going to spend some time on the strip playing a little blackjack. We're going to get together for dinner and a show. And I wander down to Casino Royale, which, unlike the palace that it is now, you're laughing, but I'm right. There is no hotel tower. There's no Denny's. There's no Subway. There's no steakhouse. It is 2/3 smaller than it is now.
Wow.
It is a few slot machines, a pit with 2 blackjack tables and a craps table and a roulette table in a square. And up a set of stairs, there is a snack bar that sells hot dogs and popcorn.
This sounds like a wonderful casino. This sounds like what you always ask for when you go to Vegas.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is right after the Mirage opened. And I sit down to play at their blackjack game. And it's a $1 game. It's a single deck game. And they have 9 spots.
Okay.
Do the math.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
It took me a couple hands to do the math, but they could only go twice around. The table's always full because it's the cheapest table on the strip. And they can only go around twice every single time. Bet table minimum, $1. If you don't see a whole bunch of 10s and aces, go crazy. Bet $5.
Go crazy.
Rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
Right? So I win some money. I go back, take my wife to dinner. We go see a great show. She's never played blackjack, and I'm like, we're going down to Casino Royale. We're gonna play blackjack. You're gonna play, and I'm gonna play, and you don't have to know anything. I'll tell you how to play your hands, and you are always gonna bet $1 when I bet $1, and when I bet $5, you're gonna bet $5. And she is shaking in her stilettos at the idea of betting $5.
Yeah.
I said, and we're gonna do this. We are going to play just until we lose both hands. As soon as we lose 2 hands in the same shuffle, we're done.
Okay.
We're out.
Okay.
So like 5 hours later, and more Coors Lights than I care to admit.
Yeah.
We take a break, mark our spots, go out and watch the very novel, very new volcano erupt. And I am struggling to stand at the rail. I am struggling to remain upright. It was partially lack of sleep.
Sure. Yeah.
It's getting late. I was just tired.
We know that feeling in Vegas.
And I say to my wife, I think we need to wrap it up. I think we need to be done. We've won over $1,000.
Wow, on $1 and $5 bets.
We can't imagine this amount of money, right? Compared to the amount of money we took out there, compared to our $30 each buy-in, we've just crushed that. I'm like, I can't keep my eyes open. And she's like 5'3". Well, without the shoes, she's 5'3". And she really grabs me by the lapel and she's like, you listen to me. You told me we were staying until we lost 2 hands on the same shuffle, and we haven't lost. And you don't get to quit while you win. You only quit when you lose. You never walk out. She's thinking Vegas twice.
Yeah.
Listen to this wisdom.
Yeah.
Right? Listen to this wisdom from a woman who's only been to Las Vegas twice. So we go back in and get another round of Coors Lights, and we keep playing and another round of Coors. Finally, it happens, right? Yeah. Finally, it happens. We lose both hands off of a shuffle. We think that we're being sneaky, and we're going to sneak the chips out in our pockets, and they already know, and we get all counted up. And we did. We got back to the Imperial Palace with maybe 3 hours before we needed to be up and headed to the airport.
Oh, no.
And we did throw all the money in the air over the bed and jump up and down on it. And for the first time ever in either of our lives, we splurged on room service.
Oh, nice.
Amazing luxury for that time in our lives. We shelled out. We went the full $18 for the Monte Cristo sandwich and the $15 for the cheese. Those seem like those were expensive. That seems normal now, right? You can barely go to Wendy's. That was
great.
Really pricey back then. It really was. But first time we ever broke a game, and to my knowledge, the last time the Casino Royale ever offered 9-spot single deck blackjack, because we were back there about 9 months later looking for that game, and it was gone.
Oh yeah, they figured it out.
Congratulations! You broke your first game at that point in time.
Nice work.
So, you were telling me you had to catch a flight back 3 hours after you finished gambling? Is that what you said?
Yeah, and that was a lot more common back then. I mean, there were people that would hang out at the Hard Rock, the old Hard Rock, not the new one, which was the closest airport to the casino.
Okay.
And they would call and move their flight back by 2 hours and play for 2 more hours and then move it back by another hour. And because once you left Vegas, you weren't gambling anymore. You couldn't go. Vegas and Atlantic City, that was it. And Atlantic City was crowded and expensive at the time.
Yeah. So there was not any, because I guess it would have been the early 90s when the Paradise came to Peoria. Correct.
Yeah, probably right.
Something like that.
Late 90s, maybe. Yeah.
Our local casino. We're just trying to timestamp when the arrival in Peoria, Illinois.
Yeah.
So,
and we also need to allow that my aged memory. There may have been some third casino in New Orleans that.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
I was unaware of.
We get the point. Yeah. That's a great story. And that kind of illustrates the highs that we have yet to attain on our pursuit gambling. Our last night in Vegas never seems to go quite that way, TRG. I have nights that I can recall, but it's like in the middle of the trip, and I still find a way to give it back to them mostly before I go back.
Yeah.
So, last question. We ask this of everyone. Don't take it personally. Have you ever been kicked out of a casino or come close?
Lots of fun.
Oh, classic.
In the 90s. A circus property, a low roller property. I am a card counter in this moment in time. They have $5 tables. I am playing quarters. I am counting cards. There is one pit boss. There's a security guard at the front. There's a security guard at the back. They are nowhere near me. And then gradually there's a security guard behind me. And then another security guard behind me.
Oh, no.
And then a second pit boss. And then a guy in a suit who's having a hot dog and should not be eating a hot dog at Slots of Fun on a Tuesday afternoon at 4:00. And I realized that I've probably been clocked as a card counter, and it's feeling uncomfortable. And I looked at my lovely wife and I said, let's just go. Let's just call her up and let's just go. And she goes, oh, okay. And I call her up, and the guy with the hot dog puts down his hot dog and walks over and stands behind me. And both pit bosses come up, and as they're coloring me up, and I hadn't won very much. I had not won significant sums in any way. This was not like a big deal. $150 maybe. Right? Nothing huge. But at a $5 table, and I'm playing quarters, and it's Slots of Fun.
Right.
And the second pit boss says, "Do you live here, sir?" I said, "Oh no, I'm in on vacation. I'm just here for a long weekend with my wife." And he goes, "Well, where are you staying?" And I said, "I'm staying over at the Mirage." And he goes, "You should probably stay over at the Mirage, sir."
Did you ask him why, or were you just like, okay, and walked out?
No, I think he and I completely understood each other.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think I understood him loud and clear. And I honestly, I don't think I've been back to Slots of Fun since.
That's probably okay.
That's okay. Yeah, you're not missing too much. So we asked this question of everyone, and it seems like the vast majority of people we interview have been kicked out or come close to being kicked out of a casino.
Yeah,
and it almost always results in the story being about them being smart. And we started this question because both of us either have been kicked out or come close to being kicked out of a casino. And it's for things like sliding down a banister or being unable to communicate properly with the guy letting you on.
Being dumb.
Just like ridiculous things like that. And it turns out all the stories have to do with people being really smart.
I guess we have smart guests.
We're close. Our stories are close to being the same stories. Okay, that's a wonderful story. Folks, that's going to do it for us this week. Stay tuned next week for part 2 with the Ramblin Gambler. We're going to be covering progressions, regressions, exit points, and other strategies for beating the casino. Good juju to your bets, and we'll talk again soon.
All right, thank you again to them for having me on. As I've said, go give them a listen, give them a like, a subscribe, a share. Hear the whole thing, hear the whole interview. Be ready to hear part 2 when it comes out. The story that I wanted to do, the comment that I wanted to make, the gentle rebuttal that I want to make sure is very clear. They were so kind, they were so generous. They titled the episode 40 Years of Beating the House. And as wonderful a compliment as that is, I do want to remind everybody that that's just not true. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm claiming. I take my losses like everybody else. I've tried to share them there. I've tried to be honest. I've said from the very beginning, the last core concept is the last parts of the core concepts are if you're trying to win a period of time, in my case, a month, maybe a quarter for some of you, maybe a trip, right? Try to win the cruise. That doesn't mean you're going to beat every machine. That doesn't mean you're going to beat every table. That doesn't mean you're going to win every day. Try to beat the cruise. That's doable. We've shown that that's doable. And when you don't, on the off chance that you don't, you either make it up with the money you won the month before, you make it up with the money you're going to win next month, you make it up with the comps and gifts you receive. I'm trying to get to the end of the month and have a net profit after expenses between what I won or lost and between what I received, and make those all match up and align. I like when it's a revenue generator. I'd prefer it's always a revenue generator. I mean, it was great to get off the MSC ship and have a profit, and then a short time later go down and get on a Royal Caribbean ship and get off with a profit. And on that ship, we never had a losing day. Mrs. TRG had a losing table or two, but we had a losing craps table in there. We had some, but we never had a losing day. Every day when we got done, we counted back the money we had started with and put the extra money in the safe, and we brought the extra money. I'm about winning, but I'll define winning a couple different ways, and I am not 40 years of beating the house. And so I do want to take you way back. One of the first trips I ever made to Las Vegas, not the first, not the second, but one of the first trips I ever made early in my gambling career when I was gambling less frequently. And we went to the Mirage on a couple's trip, and it was fine. It was up and down. It was not a bad trip at its outset, but we had a late checkout set. We had a later departure to the airport. Mrs. TRG wanted to enjoy the pool at the Mirage, and I wanted to play blackjack. Because when I left, it was going to be probably a year, maybe more, with kids before I was going to get to play blackjack again. So I didn't want to go to the pool. I'm more willing to go to the pool now because there's blackjack everywhere, and I have winter where I live, so it's cold here. So I'm much more willing to spend pool time because pool time's harder to get than blackjack time in my current life. But at that moment in my life, blackjack time was very hard to get. And so I wanted to spend this long checkout day at the blackjack table. And at the time, I had read books by amazing experts that knew all about how to play blackjack. And they said, how you should bet. Their wagering system, which you will notice does not have very good regressive and very good positive progressive techniques. Their progressive technique was, if you bet 1 and win, bet 2. And that's what I was doing because that's what the experts had taught me. And so I would bet 1, and if I won, I would bet 2. And I played for hours and hours and hours at the Mirage. It was not quite as bad as Las Vegas Vacation, but it was right there because what was happening? I'm betting probably at the time $10 and I win. So now I bet $20. The 10 I originally bet and another 10 and I lost. And the game played 50-50 almost the entire 3-4 hours, whatever it was that I was there. And by the time it was time to meet my wife, I had lost more money than I should have lost. I had lost the money I took on the trip to gamble. I had lost some, but not all of the travel money. And I had lost some of an ATM withdrawal. All while doing exactly what the experts in the book said. Playing perfect basic strategy. Not counting cards so I don't get caught. Raising my bets after a win. And I'd win and I'd lose. And I'd win and I'd lose. And I just got my brains beat in. I just got completely and totally, absolutely, 100% wrecked. Horrible loss. A horrible loss that in American dollars now is not the end of the world, but at the time was a meaningful amount of money to me. And I had done everything right. I had done everything I read in every single book. And I sat there on that plane, and I sat there on that ride home, and I had this realization. I said, I am never, ever playing this again unless I figure out something better. Unless I figure out something better than bet, and if you win, double your bet. I'm not doing that again. I am never, ever doing that again. And if I can't figure out something better, then I'm just never doing this again. I'm just not. And now I'm back home, and now I can't play again even if I want to. I have responsibilities. I have work. I only have so much PTO. It's in the rearview mirror now, and it's stuck in my head. It's stuck in my head that I had to either invent something different or be done. As much as the great Casino Royale story was, as fun as that was to see a flaw through knowledge and break that game, this is the next trip out or the trip after that, and that Casino Royale table isn't there. And all those wins aren't happening. We'd played pretty even, but I had just gotten completely wrecked while doing what I believe to be the best and perfect thing. And that is the beginning, folks. That is somewhat another version of the origin story, because I did take that to heart. I've never played that way again. I probably still never will. Never forgotten that beating. 40 years of beating the house. As I said, I appreciate the compliment, but there's a great example of I wasn't beating the house. The house beat me like a drum. But that is then when I went beyond the few books that I had bought at Barnes & Noble to the main branch of a library and started reading every single blackjack book on the shelf. And that's when I did then start playing and practicing and testing TRG1, the one, the only. That's when I started saying, what is the play environment that I am in? What is the situation that I am in? How am I going to make sure that I'm not betting, right? The progressive side of what I do today. If I win 2, which means I have profited 2 units, I am willing to put at risk 1/2, which is to say 25% of what I've won on the next wager. That's where the 2 stacks started to originate, the very rudimentary parts of this whole thought process, right? That's where this all started, was in that horrible loss, horrible in the time, in the moment, right? It wasn't 40 years of beating the house, but it was that one moment of getting what was at the time really beat up that caused me to stop and back up and think and research and learn and find something that was guaranteed to work, except the house knew it too, and figure out how I was going to cut off a loss really aggressively, because at the time, I wasn't worried about rewards. I wasn't worried about tier credits. I wasn't worried about reward credits. There weren't these big brands and kiosks and points and apps and websites and knowing everything. There were personal relationships. They comped you what they want. I was paying for the rooms. I was paying for the meals. I wasn't a big enough player at 10 or 20 bucks to get much of anything comped. I wasn't worried about comps. I didn't even really know about comps. I hadn't read The Frugal Gambler yet and figured all that out. When you were going to Las Vegas once a year, once every 2 years, once every 3 years, that wasn't part of the mix. That wasn't part of the equation. I was just trying to figure out how to win, and that's where some of that journey started. But certainly a rebuttal of the idea that I 40 years of beating the house, no. And I've tried to show you that every session isn't a winning session. I'll be honest, when I look back over all the numbers, here is the reality. The reality is that on a monthly basis, I usually have 1, maybe 2 months where I really, really crush the house every year, where it is just sunshines, roses, and unicorns, and I just rip through them. And there's about 1 month a year where it just all goes really south, and even the comps and gifts don't quite cover the losses. And that's taken all the comps and gifts at value. And the reality is that we still probably got a panini maker from that losing month last year sitting here waiting for somebody on Marketplace to decide they want to buy it. That's taking all the comps and gifts. So I usually have 1 or 2 really great months that just tear through everything. 1 month, no matter what I do, it doesn't go my way. And the rest of the months, I either have a profit after expenses before comps, or I have a profit after expenses with comps. I win most of the rest of the months. It's usually only 1 really, really bad month, but I do not want to give the impression, as grateful as I am for the very clickable title to the episode, as much as I appreciate that, I take losses less often than lots of people. There's a lot of not skilled players out there, folks. There are a lot of people playing that don't have the skills to win. But even those of us that have the skills to win, we're still taking losses from time to time, and I never want to create the impression that it is all winning. It is almost all winning months. Winning months are easy. Winning machines are harder. Winning tables are a little more easier than winning machines, but it is about winning in the big picture, and that is one of our core concepts. And I just want to make sure that that was clear, as much as I appreciate the compliment. Please tip your waitresses, tip your bartenders, tip your dealers. If you have a host, tip your host. Remember your wisdoms. Don't tip away your wins. I have spoken. Everything you heard here is true from a certain point of view. In 10 years, we may find out I was wrong about all of this. It's time for leaving, and I hope you understand I was born a rambling man. Love it, hate it, it don't matter. Please share with your family and friends. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening. Thank you again for the gift of your time. Stick around. The best part of the podcast is next, the Casino Combat Blues.
For Atlantic City Empress, Casino Combat